This week, the Supreme Court upheld state bans on transgender athletes in girls and women's sports. The decision was 6-3. Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote the majority opinion, saying schools can base eligibility for sports teams on biological sex. CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor, and maybe my co-anchor this week, Jessica Levinson, is here to answer constitutional questions about the case. So, how does the Equal Protection Clause apply in this case?
That's a great question. And this was the constitutional question, whether or not states that prohibit biological males from participating on girls' sports, whether or not that violates the Equal Protection Clause, which we know guards against discrimination. That's the broadest way of describing the Equal Protection Clause. When it comes to the Constitution and we look at the 14th Amendment and the Equal Protection Clause, what we want to make sure the government doesn't do is take away fundamental rights just from some people. Playing sports is not a fundamental right, or draw lines on problematic classifications, meaning the primary problematic classification is race, but sometimes sex as well. And that's, Lindsay, what this case was all about. Can you draw lines on the basis of sex when it comes to who gets to participate in girls' and women's sports?
Why is the decision up to the states?
So it's a great question also. It's not up to the states because the states get to make these determinations as long as they don't violate individual rights. And in this case, what is the right we're talking about? It's equal protection rights. So generally speaking, what I always say to my students is question number one, does the government have the power to act? States absolutely have the power to legislate in the area of education and athletic programs. But then the question becomes, are they infringing on somebody's right? In this case, the challenge was brought by transgender athletes who said these laws violate our equal protection rights. The court said no. And as a result, this is up to the states. The states get to make the determination as to whether to implement these bans.
What does the ruling mean for states that allow trans athletes?
So this is the other part of the question, and that is left open. And this was actually the first footnote of the Supreme Court's big decision this week. And the court said, we are not weighing in on a different issue, which is working its way up through the court system. That separate issue is states that allow transgender athletes to participate in girls' and women's sports. They specifically said that's for another day. So we only really have half of the answer, which is states can ban. That's left to the states. That's the who decides. But in terms of states allowing, I have a feeling we'll be talking about that in about a year or less.
Okay, Jessica Levinson, thank you.